So welcome. Leaders are purpose-driven, and they become really good at helping others attach to their purpose along with them. It's what I call purpose or meaning making. It all starts by each of us being anchored by a mission. So today, I want to help you to explore your mission and be able to share it with others. This is the purpose of today. So we're going to walk through a process to get clearer on your mission and to help you understand where it came from. And there'll be multiple ways to triangulate around that as well. So we'll hit it. Let's start by looking backward, and then we can look forward and how to leverage it. We're going to be working on finding and sharing your mission today. So let's dig in and find it. It's yours for now, but soon, and what's important about your mission and your purpose is that soon you'll be inviting other people into it. And of course, it will change. There's a wonderful quote that I've always loved from Emerson. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Be prepared and be open that your blue flame, your passion, your purpose, your mission may actually change and take twists along the way. Now, I mentioned blue flame. It's something that I've used since my first book, Never Alone. What burns inside of you as your blue flame, that hot, that most pure part of your essence? Psychologist Todd Cashin defines purpose as a central, self-organizing life aim. Let's break that down. Central, what is dominant in your identity? Core to who you are. Life aim, something that's never achieved, but it's always seeking new targets, aiming, but pushing for more. I'll give you some examples of folks that I think you'll know. Oprah. Oprah wants to be a teacher and to be known for inspiring her students to be more than they thought they could be. That's Oprah Winfrey. Richard Branson, maybe. Richard Branson is to have fun in his journey throughout life and learn from his mistakes. That's Richard Branson. Or Maya Angelou. She said, "My mission in life is to not merely survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." So how do you find it? I always find looking back is really powerful. Looking back for the best times and the worst times and collect stories along the way. So let's talk about the best times. What were your moments in flow? The flow state from psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. These were times when you really felt completely involved. Maybe even a sense of euphoria or ecstasy outside of reality, a feeling of inner clarity, right? To know what needs to be done, a belief in yourself that you can accomplish your goal. When did you feel that sense of serenity? I'm asking you these questions to imagine a time when all of these things, we call it flow, were present, where you didn't have the worries about yourself or your ego or your fear, where there might have been even a sense of timelessness, right? Where you totally focused on the present, where hours felt like minutes. This is where you find your intrinsic motivation, and it's rewarding just to do it, right? Whatever you were doing is where you find your intrinsic motivation. It's rewarding just to be doing that. That's a lot, I know, and many of us seek and find these things, and it's challenging, but I want you to find little moments where you felt that kind of flow. What were you doing? Who were you with? Why did you do it in the first place? These moments help reveal our mission. So I have to say, as I think about these things, the time when I was really confident, in flow, had a sense of self, really felt that I was going to hit it out of the ballpark. There were times when I was starting something, right? It could have been an organization I was starting in college. It could have been the excitement of starting a new company. It It could have been the excitement of starting a new nonprofit or a project. It was always when I was starting something. That's so important for me to recognize. Now, let's also now take a pause, and the other place to triangulate for you to find your mission, that blue flame, that purpose in your life, let's look back for the challenging times, right? What really drives you often comes from moments of pain. Crucibles of leadership, says James McGregor Burns, author of a book called Leadership. Those crucibles, they're the hardest moments, and they make us who we are. They make us into the leaders that we are. What have you been willing to make significant sacrifices for in your life? Well, this one's easy for me, and I mentioned it a bit earlier. It's my own backstory. It's my dad's dinner table. When I grew up in the 70s, there was real poverty in Pittsburgh. The industry, the steel industry, was crashing around us. My dad was unemployed for months at a time. What about you? What one event from your past most impacts how you show up today? These moments, they help you understand where your purpose and mission came from. And I'll take you there again. I was sitting at my dad's dinner table, hearing my father talk about work. And he was talking about changes that he thought would make the work better. And he was also bemoaning the fact that nobody listened, nobody cared. Months later, he was out of a job. Company was closing down. And I knew that if the people cared about what my dad had to say and his peers and other workers, that the quality of the steel industry at the time might have been fortified, that the imports that were competing and winning, we might have been able to compete. And I was angry. And I had said to myself, damn it, we're gonna make a difference. I'm gonna make a difference. I'm gonna grow up someday, I'm gonna do something about it. That passion in me, that looking back, that pain to see my father struggling at that time, right? That was really important to me. I was on a walk yesterday with a young man whose whole family were police officers. And he talked about duty. And I could tell that in that experience, that sense of service in his world was so important to him. And he's lost members of his family in the line of service. What is it that you look back on as those crucibles, so crucial? Now, let's look forward. What job would you really dream of, even if it wasn't possible, and why? You know, this is something that I often talk to executives that I'm coaching, executives that might be transitioning from one role or another. And I suggest to them, write down on a piece of paper all of the jobs that you would love to have, that you would think would be the coolest things in the world. And I don't care if they're even possible. I don't care if you write down President of the United States and yet you were born outside of the country, which would make it impossible. It doesn't matter. I want you to write down on a list all of the jobs that you think would be powerful and exciting and important for you and you would love. Ballerina, I don't care what it is, an author, whatever it is, write it down. And then next to it, write down why. What was the driver, the motivation for why you would want that job? And what you're going to find is that the why column is more important than the job itself. Because I want you to look into that why for what your real purpose is and why you really want to be excited about showing up in the world. Again, no judgment at all. What would you do even if you didn't get paid for it? Would you coach? Would you speak? Would you serve the poor? Would you be in numbers? Would you be in programming? Would you really love the grit of cracking the code of a tough problem? What if after all of this, looking back, what if after all of this essence of when have I been in most flow? And what if after looking forward and saying, how do I want to live my life? What if after all of this, you still can't think of what that blue flame is for you? It's okay. You know, what if you still just have in your mind a job? It's okay. The question then is, how do you want to live your life? With what joy? With what serenity? With what happiness? With who? Then that becomes the essence of your blue flame. I hope these questions were provocative. I hope these questions gave you pause. I hope these questions allowed you to reflect a bit. These questions are intended to help you begin a journey of understanding purpose, of understanding what really drives you, what that blue flame is, what you're really trying to fulfill. Your mission today, of course, is to muse on this, but it's a lifetime musing. Don't be too concerned about landing it perfectly. You're going to be tapping back into this story for years. It's very interesting. It wasn't actually until I started writing Leading Without Authority that I started piecing things together. There were different parts of my life that I thought were kind of disparate. My desire to be of service here, my desire to make a difference here, my pride and desire to be successful here. But over time, the real elegance comes when your life all fits together in a beautiful tapestry that makes sense, but it's a journey. The purpose for this course is what I want you to be thinking about. Look, we have spent today mining your past for moments of flow and crucibles of leadership, the hard times, and looking forward to imagine how you can live your mission. Understanding both and all of those will help you tap into your purpose. Doing so will help you share it with others. And so I want you to answer the question: what event from your past most profoundly impacts the way you show up as a leader today? I'm going to do it again. This is your mission. What event from your past most profoundly impacts the way you show up as a leader today? It's a beautiful little sampling of that exploration. And I want you to share this with a buddy in the quest, all right? I want you to begin to explore and pick it apart, and it doesn't have to be perfect. This is a journey. Listen, you're on your way towards your mission. It might be fuzzy today, but it's going to get clearer and clearer and more in focus. Your purpose will become that driving force, that blue flame. And you won't have to do it alone. Next, you're going to be enlisting people to join you in your mission and your purpose so that they can fulfill theirs. That's the most exciting part. That's where real joy happens. And I'll see you there.